than just a laser engraving and specialty design company. Much more. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs, and if you can dream it, we can probably make it. We can custom laser cut and engrave on nearly all material. Great for one-of-a-kind gifts, home decor, business and specialty items, or personalized and logoed designs created just for you or your company. Allow us to become your go-to gift and specialty project partner. Romika Designs can help make your ideas a reality. We're ready to help you design and create that special gift for any occasion or engrave your personal or business logo on just about any product. View our designs at romikadesigns.com or simply email us with your ideas. We specialize in custom design and would be honored to have the opportunity to discuss it with you. Call us at 817-400-4040, email info@romikadesigns.com, or visit us on the web at romikadesigns.com.
Out-of-date carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820.
When you're hungry for tender brisket or some delicious homemade cobbler, then look no further than Leach Brothers Barbecue, located at 1106 East Henderson, Cleveland, Texas. Leach Brothers has been family owned and operated since 1950. Take it from me, Taco Joe Orwinski. Todd and his family have been filling my belly breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a long time. Heck, I even have my own booth, open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come see them for dine-in, carry-out, and all your catering needs.
Serving Johnson County, Texas, Joco Community Radio.
Hello, everybody out in Johnson County, Tarrant County, and wherever you may be today. Hope you're having a good one. This is Jason Chandler with Affinity Mortgage in Burleson. My much more attractive co-host is not with us today. She's taking care of some business, but we've got a really special guest here, Senior Vice President with First Financial Bank, John Saenz. How you doing, John?
I'm doing well, Jason. Thanks for having me.
Good. Man, I tell you, we've talked about having you on the show, a few times, and I've really been ready for this segment because me being in mortgage business, you being, in banking, there's a difference.
Yes, sir.
There's definitely some overlapping products, with home loans and stuff, but there's some bank-specific products that, I really want you to take some time to explain to our audience.
Sure. Thanks, Jason. Well, first and foremost, being a portfolio lender at First Financial Bank, we keep our loans in-house. Typically on the secondary market, a lot of secondary market lenders sell them off and to servicers, investors, and whatnot, and they end up servicing those loans. At First Financial Bank, if we do an in-house mortgage, they'll be making their payments to us in-house. So that's probably one of the biggest differences between secondary market, and what we do at First Financial Bank. But getting back to your question specifically with the products, one right now that's very popular, Jason, is probably the bridge loan. And the way that one works is we provide 100% financing for the purchase of the home, with the realtor submitting a contract with no contingency of them having to sell their existing home. So what happens there, I'll give you an example here. So say your buyer is going to be purchasing a $400,000 home, and they want to move in. They don't want to lose out on the bid and put an offer in with no contingency, but the majority of the equity and their funds that they're wanting to put down are locked up in the existing home. So we put them in an interest-only loan for 11 months. And at that time, it allows them to basically move in, avoid having to move into an apartment, a hotel, a double wide, an RV, in-laws, what have you. And so there's a lot of savings there. However, there's costs associated with it. But what happens there is we put them in an interest-only loan for 11 months. That's just the term. But it'll just allows them that time to get their home ready to sell, paint it, clean it up, get everything dialed in for maximum sell value, of course. So in this example, I'll assume that the customer owes $100,000, and they're going to, on the existing home they own, and they're going to sell their home for $400,000,
okay,
which they'll net $300,000. And their plan was to take that $300,000 and pay down on the purchase of their home. Well, in this case, they'll pay down the bridge loan balance from $400,000 down to $100,000 and end up with a $100,000 mortgage. So the biggest point there is they must have equity in the existing property that they own. So that's kind of just a general overview of the scenario. Of course, that was just a general example. A lot of times the mortgage is already paid off. So I've done a bridge loan recently where they were buying a $500,000 home, but they were selling their home and they were netting over $700,000. So we did the bridge loan, and when they sold their home, they just paid the bridge loan off entirely and ended up with no mortgage.
So it's not always that you'll have to have both homes on the loan.
That is correct. We typically would do we would put a lien on the existing home. However, we've done loans where if there's a down payment, we may just do a one property bridge loan.
Oh, assuming they have some money where they can go ahead and put that down.
Correct. Put it down, and then also assets, great credit. You got to have strong credit, but those are few and far between. However, those are opportunities that present themselves as we take the applications. But typically, it's an interest-only loan for 11 months. And if there is a current balance on their existing mortgage, they're going to be carrying two balances.
So would you say that, someone bought a home, let's say a year ago, they put 5% down on a conventional mortgage, even with these outrages, these prices screaming up and everything, they're probably not going to have the equity.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. So, is there a rule of thumb that, and I know you don't want people out there making decisions if it's close. If it's close, you probably want them to call you. But, if they know that someone's only got 10 or 15% equity, if the realtor's pretty sure, unless the client has significant funds to put down on the new home, it's probably not going to work, is it?
That's a long shot.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that are tough, but we don't know that until we take the complete application, right?
Right.
So, and a lot of times you don't know that if you're referring that as a realtor. Realtors don't typically dig in to financials and things of that nature. They trust us for that, right? So I always like to collect the data and the information first,
okay,
and then share that with the customer. It's like, okay, here's what I'm seeing with regards to your assets, your cash on hand in the bank, your credit score. your debt to income ratio before the bridge loan, during the bridge loan, and then after the bridge loan, but more so the equity position you're in. If you're sitting, I'd like to say you've got to have at least 30 to 40% equity in your home. So
Okay.
that's kind of where we're at. But again, strong credit, assets, there might be an opportunity there, but 5% down after a year, those are going to be tough.
Well, let me ask you this: when you're in a situation where you do have to use both homes, is that of course I would always assume you'd get an appraisal on the new home being purchased, but the other home, let's say it's paid for, but it's not going to nearly net enough to pay cash for the new home. You got to have both homes. Would you do an appraisal normally on that current home?
Typically, we like to keep costs low for our customers. So one, we would order in that situation, drive-by appraisal. We would do a BPO. Even if it came in shy, we know that that's probably not going to be, and I explain that to the customer. Hey, I know you're going to list yours. You told me 600, but even if the BPO came in at 5, don't fret. You only owe 180 and you have tons of equity. You're still going to be able to do this loan. We're fine. It's just, we need to have a valuation on that property in order to put a lien on it.
Okay. And then once, of course, they're in their brand new home and now they've listed their old home for sale, that thing closes and they're sitting there going, okay, or it's going to close. They're like, how much do I need to pay you for you to release that lien on that old home? And I guess that's where you have to look and go, well, here's what you'll qualify, for the permanent financing, right? Because you can't pay interest only forever. You got to turn that into a regular loan.
That's correct. So going back to the example I used where they were going to be left with $100,000 mortgage. Any bounce, whether it's 100 or 300 or 500,000, we need to get them pre-approved for permanent financing for that takeout. So for instance, say you referred me a bridge loan customer. You knew someone that was a realtor that needed a bridge loan. They'll call John, he'll do the bridge loan for you. Since it came from you, you're going to give me a takeout commitment letter before I even go and get the bridge loan approved, because I need to make sure that whatever permanent financing they're going to be left with after they pay it down and sell their home, that they're going to be able to budget for that loan.
Right.
So I need that letter from you. And typically we get that with no problem. And it works perfect.
And then if it wasn't referred, then you sit there and you've got your products where you can convert that interest only into.
Correct. First Financial Bank Mortgage. We have, we just hired Monty Dobbins. So he'll be handling our Johnson County area market. So we'd have him provide a takeout commitment if it wasn't from a previous lender. But if a realtor would come in, we would do it that way. Or in that $100,000 example, we would basically offer them a 15-year fixed in-house, because the payment, they'll probably qualify for that. So we'll keep a portfolio loan, keep it in-house.
Understood. And I think hopefully everyone listening, again, the value of the bridge loan that I really got from what John's telling us is no contingency. You've got all these multiple offer situations out there, and you got sellers that are basically, no, that's contingent, pass. And now it's like, okay, no contingency, let's move forward. And for the right person in the right situation, it's a great loan, great product.
Absolutely, Jason. You hit it right on the head. Here's the thing. It's not for everyone. There's costs associated, as you mentioned earlier, the appraisal on the front end, of course, of the purchase, the survey, if there's not an existing one already, the title policies, typically 1% of the new purchase price, which is hefty if they're buying a $500,000-$600,000 home. Tax and insurance, of course, they're going to need to have funds for that. And, the closing costs, we charge a 0.5% origination. And again, a drive-by appraisal on the existing home, title search on the existing home, title recording, miscellaneous fees. So, there's costs associated with it. So, again, if you don't have that cash on hand to be prepared to come in and close with, then yeah, it might not work.
Well, I can tell you that 0.5% cost that just caught my eye, because I know, from looking at options out there, if, bridge loans and what's out there, that, your competition's higher on that, or a lot of your competition is higher. I shouldn't say, oh, I don't know everybody, but that's really very reasonable fees there. So that's a plus. And of course, you being local, Joco guy right here in Burleson.
That helps out a lot, because we get a lot of calls from realtors and customers, and, well, where are you at? Where are you? Well, I'm right here on Wilshire 174, heading into Joshua, right next to, John Jones and Wilshire. So, oh, okay, I know where you're at. Once you identify as a local presence, and they're not having to go online, they don't know who they're talking to, somebody out of state, there's none of that. There's a comfort level. They know where they can come in. They can drop their documents off. They can come in and talk about pricing, look me in the eye, shake my hand, me shake their hand, get to know them, more importantly. So those are the things that we enjoy about it, and more so our customers.
Awesome. Well, it's a very nice facility that you've got, and I know you've got a good support staff there.
Yeah,
help you, very friendly. So the next thing I wanted to bring up, and these are things that come to me. So I know if these are coming to me often, that it's on a lot of people's minds, and that's called the Heloc. Now, of course, that's a home equity loan, second mortgage line of credit. There's times where mortgage companies can do a cash out loan, but they're going to do the first mortgage. They're going to pay off the existing mortgage in advance cash. Well, what's happened recently? Those rates have climbed, and some people got 2 point something, 3 point something, and it may not make sense for them to touch that, right? So what is a Heloc? What is a Heloc?
That's exactly right. Right now, Jason, the phone's blowing up because of that reason. You just hit it on the head. They don't want to touch that rate, and you can't blame them. Would double their rate if they wanted to do that. So we're looking for options, and the home equity line of credit, the Heloc, is a great option. It's a second or first lien. If their home's paid off and they're looking for a line of credit, for many reasons, the biggest one I look at is the home improvement. If you're looking for a line of credit and you have a lot of multiple projects that you want to build a pool and then maybe later a deck, you want to do some painting or whatnot, there's multiple projects you might have. That's where the home equity line of credit might be the most beneficial to you. The other might just be a straight home equity loan. Whereas, hey, my pool is going to cost, $65,000. I just want a 15-year fixed loan, because the Heloc is not fixed. It's variable. So in a rising rate environment that we're in right now, a lot of customers are very hesitant to get in that. And again, can't blame them. They just don't know where it's at. So it all depends on the purpose. What's your purpose of your loan? Why are you wanting to take this money out? Right now banks are being very conservative, and they should be in a rising rate environment. They're not sure no one's sure where the market's going to go. Say the market does start to come down a little bit, so we're not going to just let people just max out and take out 80%. I just want cash. I just want it. That's not going to happen. So we're very careful as to why you're taking this money out. If you've got $80,000 in credit card, we got to pay it off, we're going to max out the home. No, not going to happen. So there's a lot of reasons why we do loans. There's the purpose of it, but at the end of the day, we will help customers pay off credit cards, things of that nature, but it's got to make sense. The credit's got to be there. Your equity position's got to be there. If you moved in your home, the example you had earlier, they purchased their home a year ago and they're trying to max out and take 80% off because they've got $50,000 in equity they can take. to pay off credit cards, I don't know if that's the smartest loan for us. Now market goes the other way, and now what? We put them
because you're holding on to those loans.
That's right. Their portfolio. We're not selling them off. Their portfolio. So as a bank, you need to be conservative and try to forecast as best you can, but limit the exposure, one, from the bank's perspective, but also make sure that the customer's not putting themselves in a bad position. Last thing we want to do if the market goes the other way, people walking away from homes and things of that nature. It can get ugly real fast, and we've got a bunch of second liens out there that, you got to be careful because, a second lien's a second lien.
You're in that second lien position, right?
That's right. So,
well, you kept and you repeated it several times, and a lot of people most people probably don't know this. With cash outs in Texas, it is at 80% max. I mean, that's a very maximum. That's not a lender law, a Fannie Mae, any kind of guideline like that, a bank law. That is state of Texas. Capital. It's one of the amendments or something, in the Constitution.
Yes, sir. And great point, Jason, because when the market crashed in 2008, Texas was one of the states that held strong for that reason. They didn't allow their borrowers to exceed 80%, regardless of their lien position, their credit file, or anything. So when the market did crash, Texas wasn't in distress as most states were in that position.
And I remember, like you, I've been in lending a long time, longer than we might want to admit. And I remember being in Texas. It was January 1st, 1998, when it even became legal to get cash out. Before that, you could not get cash out on your house. Didn't matter if it was paid for, but you weren't getting it. And I just remember all the excitement, but also the people, they're like, why are they holding us to 80%? And then the mortgage crisis comes. And you're right, that may have saved Texas. If everybody had been able to take 90, 100% cash out on their house, then the other states that really suffered doing that, some of them were going 115, 125% of value for cash outs.
Yeah.
And it put them in a serious bind. So every once in a while, Austin does make a good decision, folks. And our state legislator, they were smart there to keep us at 80, but that is a fact. You cannot get over 80% and cash out, on your house. So good deal. Well, we want to talk about a few other loans. We may have time before the break. We got about 6 minutes before the break. Why don't you tell us, because I want to really hit some land and construction and other types of loans you do. Tell us a little bit about the commercial side. That's available. If I need a commercial loan, I called you. What would you tell me?
Well, as you know, I'm a consumer lender.
Mm-hmm.
However, we just hired our commercial lender in our branch here in Burleson. And he just started with us this week, so you'll get to meet him here very soon. And so now I can just introduce that referral right over to him. I would always tell everybody I do commercial loans. Absolutely, we do them. We do interim construction. And I would play quarterback and just hand it off to one of our commercial lenders, and they take it from there. And it worked great until now we have a commercial lender that will take the ball from the beginning and run with it, so to speak. So for me, it's going to take a lot off my plate, so to speak, and enable a subject matter expert, if you will, with regards to construction loans and typically more larger commercial credits that we're going to be presented with. But me being a consumer lender, I know how the commercial loans work. I don't discuss them very much, so I'll leave that to our commercial lenders at another talk show. We'll come and bring him out to answer those questions more in depth. But a lot of times I'll do some land loans, and lot loans. So all doing that, and I get a lot of those done. Even though I'm a consumer lender, I'll do some lot and land loans. So we'll do a lot loan, just say 25% down with them. They're going to build. Say they're going to build in a year, 2 years, what have you. They buy the house for, they purchased the lot, just say 100,000. 25% down. They've got a loan of 75. They've been paying on it for a year and a half or what. Now they owe 60 grand. Now, the value's probably gone up to about 120 by then, right? But now they're ready to build. So they've got their plans and specs. Well, now the commercial lender takes over. Well, with those plans and specs comes a draw schedule. That first draw is probably going to be, I don't know, 85,000 to get the tool. All the parts, basically foundation, getting it started, right? That's the first draw. Well, the very first draw would pay off the balance of that land loan, because you're going to be in an interest-only loan when you're going through that commercial process. The interim construction process is what it's called. And the very first draw will pay off that land loan. And then it's interest only. And then, so you'll take that 60,000 in this example that they owe. That'll be the very first draw, on top of whatever that first draw is on the from the interim construction agreement that they got from the builder. So now they're paying interest only all the way through the 9 months or 12 months, however long it takes to build a home. And then they'll end up with their $600,000 home that they built.
So it kind of, if you did the land loan initially, then that is paid off and wrote into the interest only based on building the home. Once construction starts, and you talk about draws, you're talking about each time you'll advance some money,
correct,
to the people building the home.
That's correct.
And then you stop and say, hey, we better check out, make sure you've done.
Oh yeah, there's inspectors that
they don't get it all up
front,
no.
Do they? Oh no, and there's a big misconception out there. The bank's not going to lend. A lot of people come to us and go, well, no, I'm going to build the home. Well, no, you're not. Not if we're lending you the money. The bank, no. You got to be a builder with a history, meaning you've got to have some homes that you've built in the past. You've got to have a reputation. We do we vet our builders very, very well, very conservative there. So we there's a lot of builders in the area. We do a lot of business with a lot of the local builders here, big builders, small, medium. As long as you are vetted and you can show you've got vendors, you have previous homes that you've built, because there's a builder's packet that we have completed. So once you're approved, then that's how that would work. So
and that's just basically, as long as you did good jobs on your previous ones, didn't walk off leaving it incomplete.
Oh yeah,
because the requirements for a builder, I guess they've got to have some kind of license in Texas, right?
Absolutely.
But the license is not. You still have to see what they've done.
Oh
right?
Sure, that's license. That's just a check mark. Are they still licensed? Is this LLC still in good standing, or their corp, whatever it is? They've got to be in good standing with the state.
Well, and that's protecting your buyer, or your client as much as yourself. Because they're probably not going to do the due diligence, but you're doing that for them to make sure, hey, this is going to be a good experience. Because I don't know, I've built a house, had a house built before in the past, and even if it goes as smooth as can be, your first time doing it, it's stressful.
Oh, I bet.
So to have people there, they'd be like, hey, it's going to be all right. And then knowing you can trust those people.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. That's a great point. Now, if you have your own cash, you can build whatever you want, however you want to build it, and have whomever you want helping you build it. But when you're borrowing money from a bank, you're very particular. And very
Awesome. Okay, guys, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll talk about some more bank products with John Saenz with First Financial Bank.
Accelerated Graphics and Saenz, 101 East Renfro, Sweet C in Burleson, Texas, can handle all of your graphic needs. Need a banner or promotional products for your business? They got you covered. T-shirts and caps for your group. All you need to figure out is if you want them screen printed or embroidered. How about some slick graphics on that hot ride to make you stand out from the crowd? Accelerated Graphics and Saenz can handle anything you throw at them. Located at 101 East Renfro Street, Sweet C in Burleson, Texas, go in and see them. Call them at 817-991-0523 or reach them on the web at www.acceleratedgraphics.net. They are loud and proud and want to serve you. Accelerated Graphics.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379 or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
Serving Johnson County, Texas. Joco Community Radio.
Off mute. So sorry about that. For those of you watching, I had muted myself, put myself in mute gel. Welcome back. I'm with John Saenz from First Financial Bank here in Burleson. We've been talking some good programs here. We went in detail into the bridge loans, into the Heloc, the home equity line of credit, about getting cash out, delve into the commercial side, and wanted to first of all, I need to give some credit to our sponsors. Now, listen up. Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen or watch, simply go to tuneinjoco.com to choose a where and how. The Joco Community Radio app is now available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more on jococommunityradio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep, Nona Reed, at 844-TEX-HEL. It's TEXHAIL, 844-839-4245. Okay, John, thanks. That was some good information. The first half, did want to ask a little bit more. I know you've got some other products to talk about, but explain a little bit more about some possible land loan products. Because the land that falls up can be a lot. That could be a lot of land,
right?
What are we talking here?
Yeah, we've got loan programs and loan options for hundreds of acres. We really don't have a limit per se, but it all depends on where it's located, where the property is. We always like to stay within our markets. A lot of times we'll get approached for big tracts out in East Texas, and we just don't have vendors out there. We don't have appraisers that go out there to, for a lender to go put his eyes on a property that's 2.5, 3 hours away, so we always want to stay within 50 miles roughly, give or take a few from where one of our branches are. But as far as the acreages, yeah, we do them for ag. There's ag lending. We have a lot ag loan options, recreation, hunting.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So we have those options, and some of them, hey, I might want to build down the road on it. I'm not sure if I'm going to build a single family residence now or perhaps later, but it all, again, we can do a 10-acre tract, we can do 100 acres. It all depends on, again, the purpose of it and where it's at. But again, I'll bring the commercial lender with me next time, and he can kind of dig into more of the in-depth benefits of those loans and how we structure them.
Well, and I noticed you saying, probably the presence, you'd like a presence within 50 miles of a branch, right? And you guys have a lot of branches. I've seen you in a lot of towns around here in North Texas. So just kind of real quick, what is the area for First Financial Bank?
Well, we've got them all the way down to, and that's a great, there's 77 branches. We're out, and we're based out of Abilene. So we're out in Hereford, Amarillo. We're out in
Panhandle.
Yeah. So we've got some opportunities down there. College Station, Orange. So we've expanded. As you know, we're out in Waxahachie, Weatherford, Aledo, South Lake, Keller. So we typically don't get into the big cities, though. The chances of you ever seen a First Financial Bank in Dallas, yeah, I doubt that'll happen. We like to stay within the smaller towns, be a community relationship bank, and we've grown to $12 billion in assets now, so we're considered one of the big boys, if you will. But we don't want to get to where we're operating like those big boys. We still want that handshake, the face-to-face, come into my office. You can call me whenever you have a question, not this 800 number kind of deal. So, but yeah, we're up to 77 branches now in the state of Texas, Texas only. We don't do typically any out-of-state lending.
I like it. I like it a lot. I do. Although you don't do the cities, I think I know I've seen one in Fort Worth, haven't I?
Yeah, that's probably one of our newer branches.
Okay.
And one of the bigger cities, if you were going to have one in a big city. But that's probably the only one.
Yeah. I like it. Little small town. That's what Joco's all about, right?
That's it.
So we've delved into these home products. Why don't you kind of just, like I said, let's talk some bank products, bank specific products.
Okay. Sounds good. So one specifically that I like to talk about is our CD secured loan. A lot of times we run into situations, and I'll give you a lot of those situations. A customer they have cash. They don't want to typically use their own cash, and say they wanted to build a swimming pool. They didn't want to use their own money. They didn't have the equity to do a home equity loan, or they're self-employed and they write off everything on their tax returns and they don't budget for the loan that we're going to give them. That happens a lot. So, but they're cash heavy. So we always give them the option of, hey, well, why wouldn't we do a CD secured loan? So in this example, here's, $50,000. You want to do a $75,000 pool, and you have $75,000 sitting over at another bank. Let's just say, well, bring it over to our bank. We open up a 2-year CD, so we'll pay you a little interest on it. You're earning a little interest on your money. And what happens there is you'll open up a checking account as well, and I'll match whatever you put in that CD, because you can't touch it for 2 years, but I'll lend you that $75,000 and put it in your checking account and allow you to go pay for your pool. And you pay me back at 3.5% interest. And I can modify your payment to fit your budget, because I can amortize that over anything. any term.
So it by CD, because sometimes we use jargon in this business, certificate of deposit.
Yes, sir.
It's just straight cash. Just take it from a savings account, said put it in a CD, which, hopefully with the rates going up, maybe the CD will start paying a little more, huh?
That's right.
Where it's a good investment too.
That's right.
That's safe money. What, FDIC insured?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And at 3.5%, you're not going to get a better rate than that anywhere.
There you go.
So that's an option. And most customers are that's the one I want. Let's do that. Their money never leaves the bank. And here's the other piece to that. Say in 2 years, their CD matured. So now they've earned a little interest. They come into the bank. In 2 years, say they paid it down to 25 grand. They've paid it on. They paid 50,000 down. Well, when we renew it, I'll give them the option. Say, okay, do you want to leave the 75 still locked in the CD? Because we only need to hold this 25 because that's all you owe on your loan. So if you want me to release that other 50 back to you, you're more than welcome to it. So your money is never leaving the bank.
I see. And that's a minimum 2 year
minimum
on a loan
2 year
CD.
Yes.
Loan on it.
Yes.
Okay. Because you hear about 6 month CDs and 12, but that's for investment purposes only.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Got you.
Yeah, but whenever you're doing a loan, and that's at 3.5%. Anything over 100,000 is 3%.
Okay.
So right now it's a good opportunity for those that have the cash and I hear it all the time. Well, I have the cash. I just don't want to pay for it. I don't want to spend my own money. Here, that's the option I give them every time. And I give it even though they may not say that. And I've had them come up like, wow, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, I've got money sitting over here at this bank. If I just move it over and all the tax returns goes away, the appraisal fees go away, the 30 days to get it done goes away. There's nothing on a refund, a home equity. There's nothing on a pool loan, home improvement loan. None of that. All that goes away. I'll have your money in 2 days.
2 days. Get her done. Yeah, well, that is for the right person that's got that money just sitting there in a savings or some kind of investment. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? That's your money. So when you say the rate, are you talking about like an actual interest rate on the loan is that gonna depend on?
No, the interest rate on the loan is it's going to be 3.5 if it's less than 100 or 3% if it's more. So, but I can amortize it over 30 years, 25 years, 20. I can amortize it over anything based off of what you feel you're comfortable with making a payment on.
Wow, that gives you a lot of power because you may know that a year or two down the line you've got some money coming from here.
Exactly.
Hey, let's keep these payments low for
Right.
a year, then boom, come in there and get your money back.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
that is power right there. Having that certificate of deposit, CDs. Keep that in mind, guys.
That right there is one of our biggest opportunities for clients, and I want to make sure to share it whenever possible that I can, and that's one. We touched on the Heloc. Right now, we've got auto loans. We do auto refinances. I know we're talking real estate right now, but our rates are as low as 4.24. We can go up to 120% loan to value based off of your FICO score, the year of the vehicle, and the mileage. A lot of times you might have, I did this for a customer not too long ago. They wanted to build a pool for about 48 grand. That's all they needed. They were going to pay the rest in cash. But they didn't have the equity, but they had just moved into their home, but they had paid off 2 cars before they bought their home. They didn't want any debt, so they paid them off. So they had the titles. So between those 2 vehicles, I was able to get them about $44,000 with 2 car loans.
Just put up the title.
The titles to the vehicle, cashed them out on 2, and then they had the difference in cash and paid for their pool that way.
Nice.
So you got to be creative. You got to let them know what opportunities you have, and so that's why I bring up these loan products so that customers out there know exactly what we do and how we can assist them in just your straight, okay, yeah, personal line of credit, or you're approved or you're not. And we're a relationship bank. What I mean by that is, you know, if you run somebody's credit report and they've got a 660 FICO, 680 FICO, but it's just a couple medical collections. You know, they're a customer of ours. They've been banking with us for X amount of years. We know them. You know, that's somebody I'm going to do a loan for, you know, even though their credit's now, you know, the pricing is what it is. However, I'm still going to move forward with that loan and do it for a customer of ours. So, you know, again, we're a relationship bank. So little things like that on a credit report, don't let it discourage you. A lot of people have banks, and you'll be surprised. A lot of people don't. They're still with these larger banks, and I ask them all the time. So who's your banker? And it's a rhetorical question because I know they don't have one.
Yeah.
And they, well, the guy that helped me open my account 6 years, he's not there. And well, if you're looking for a banker and someone to talk to, and that's kind of how we build those relationships and they start. But yeah, we have a lot of options, and those are the things that we kind of offer to assist with helping our existing customers for sure. But if you want to start looking for a relationship bank, whether it be a First Financial or a community bank, that's kind of where you're going to get that type of service.
Well, and I think as customers, we, you know, you look at the big banks and, you know, the E's, and yeah, they're all around. Well, I just want to talk personally because, yeah, I happen to bank, you know, at First Financial Bank, but I was in California, and, you know, there was a limit on my debit card for security reasons. If it gets stolen, someone can't charge over so much a day. But sometimes you need over.
No, I did that personally, Jason. I knew you were going.
Yeah,
I needed to cap you, buddy. I needed to no, I'm kidding.
You know, with me, yes, the risk. I admit it. But for other people, you know, I'm sitting there, and the lady's, you know, she's like, "Well, your card isn't running," and I'm like, "Oh man, oh no, it's a limit deal."
It's a limit.
Well, I called John immediately. And John's like, "Yeah, what's up?" "Well, I'm in California, and man, right in front of this lady and wherever we were staying, and $1,000 isn't enough, buddy. I'm going to need to kick this out." "Okay, no problem. We got it. Instead of trying to fumble around, look for a number, I'm talking to a computer, trying to get it kicked up and stressing out. You're right there. So there's having that relationship.
Yeah.
You know, they know you when you call your bank, and that's a big deal, but that's just a personal, you know, idea or example of where that relationship matters, and you can grow over time as you're doing. If you do car loans and a land loan here or there, maybe someday I want to open a business and do a big commercial building. Well, I've got a history. So you're building a history of trust.
That's right.
And that relationship banking is not dead.
That's right.
It is very much alive at First Financial. And it's special. And I just wanted to take time to point out to everybody that, yeah, think about, do you have a relationship with your bank? And if so, what kind of relationship? So,
yeah.
What else we got, John?
Well, thanks for that. And you know, again, that was just touching on the auto loan there, but we also have a credit card right now that offers 0% for the initial 24 months. So 2 years with 0% for purchases and balance transfers for the first 2 years. So that's pretty hard to beat.
How do you beat 0?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
2 years, huh?
2 years, 24 months. We have a credit card. And there's others that you can get that have a shorter term, 6 months or maybe even 12 months. But there's a credit card we have that you can get that's up to 2 years with 0% balance transfers and interest. So I wanted to make sure I threw that. But there's also 2 other products I want to make sure to mention. Our bank, about 6 months ago now, just started rolling out our I-10 program, our individual tax ID number program for foreigners that move to the state of Texas that are looking for home ownership. And we have some loan options that they don't have a Social Security number, but they have an I-10. They've been working here for years. and now that they've been wanting to, they've saved money, now they want to buy. Well, we're giving them an opportunity. We have a 30-year fixed with 15% down and 0.5% origination. The rate today is 6.75. We have another option with a 15-1 arm. It's fixed for 15, and then it'll adjust. That's amortized over 30 years. That's only 10% down, and that's at 6.25. We only charge a 0.5% origination on both of those. Actually, all of this third one as well. And then we have a 15-year fix, 10% down. That one's amortized over 15 years, and that's at 6%. Again, these are today's rates. And then the other program is our affordable home mortgage program. Again, this is for families where their income cannot exceed 100% of the median household income for the state of Texas, which is $80,000 gross. Maximum loan amount there is $300,000. So there's a couple of opportunities there. One's a 30-year fix with 10% down. The rate today is 6.6, and then a 20-year fix, 5% down, and the rate there is 5.85. Both with a 0.5% origination.
Those are good programs.
They really
is that part of the what did you call the second program?
Affordable home mortgage program.
Is that part of your community reinvestment?
CRI.
Yeah, that banks do,
Absolutely.
where they definitely want to look in and
again, since we surpassed that 10 billion mark, we're considered one of the big boys now. So
big boys,
we're
big responsibility.
There you go. So we're doing our part, and I wanted to make sure to mention that because we're getting a lot of activity with that product. And I tell you, I just got a contract the other day where they were qualified for a loan for $100,000, but they were buying it for $295,000. They're putting down $195,000 and going to do a loan that they qualified for with their income tax for $100,000. Absolutely, all day long. So there's definitely opportunities there for these customers that, again, have been working here without a social, but they do have an ITIN number, and we're glad to be able to offer that opportunity for them at our bank.
Well, and I wanted to make sure that our audience out there, ITIN are the people that, yes, without the Social Security number, but that's actually issued by the federal government. So as they're working, that's it. That's the number issued on their W-2s, stuff like that, so that they're paying taxes. It's not a foreign national where they live in another country. No. This actually people that are here legally working or issued the ITIN number.
That's correct.
And that's a great program. The 10% down, that's really aggressive.
Yep. It is, and charging a 0.5% origination in our rates. I just had a realtor call me and say, "Wow, they just got pre-approved with another bank at 10%, and they're charging 1.5%." Wow! So they ended up going with us, of course. But again, this is a new product. It's been out for 7 months now, I would say, but it's relatively new to our bank, and it's something that we've been highlighting, promoting. Every time I do a realtor presentation, I make sure to bring it up. I speak Spanish, so I'll be glad to speak with any of our Hispanic Spanish speakers to help them through the process as well. And so does my lending assistant. So we pretty much are in charge of our region's programs right now. So we're really moving with this product right now, and it's an opportunity for our bank, but more importantly, it's an opportunity for these customers.
Awesome stuff. We can see we got about 4 minutes left here. Were there any other specific products you wanted to talk about?
That kind of covers it up. I mean, we're pretty much, Jason, as you know, a one-stop shop. You can come into our bank. We've got trust opportunities with investors, people with big, high net worth that are looking to invest, brokerage accounts. We have a very good treasury management for businesses. So we have, business accounts that come over, and we make sure that we partner up with our treasury management team to sit down and do a demo to kind of go over what opportunities, what bank products, business bank products fit their needs. Every business is different. Some write checks, some debit, things of that, so it all depends on the business type. But we sit down with every type of business, and we have something basically for anyone, big or small. And again, the biggest thing is relationships. We get a lot of referrals. We just had this morning, we had a referral from local realtors here that sent customers that just moved here. Hey, who do you bank with? I'm looking for a bank. And we were blessed enough that they thought of us, and they sent them over to our bank this morning. They're really nice people, but that's how it starts. It's word of mouth. If you're taking care of your customers, they're going to spread the word. Just like if you're not, they're going to spread that word too.
Oh, yes. In a race between good news and bad news, it seems like bad news wins every time. You don't want to be on that end. So, but yes, you're right. Nothing's better than a referral, a direct referral. But that is interesting, important what you're talking about businesses, because think about every kind of different small business we've got here in Burleson. And every one of them is going to function a little bit differently. Yeah. The restaurant's going to do different than the clothing store, and on down the line.
That's right.
And to have those kind of specialized accounts and talk to them and figure out what works best for them based on transactions and stuff like that, I would assume.
Oh yeah,
that's highly important.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to get our partners involved with a one-stop shop. I'll set up an initial meeting, find out what it is they do, and then I'll bring my team in and set up a second meeting to go over. And the subject matter experts will be able to answer all those questions that I'm not able to, because I'm not privy to that information or don't know enough about it. And I don't want to mislead them in any way. I want to make sure they get the right product and the right account for their particular business and their needs.
Well, and let's see, what do we got? About a minute left. So I'm thinking about if I need a cash out and I don't have the equity in my home, and okay, maybe I've got my truck with a clear title. There's an opportunity for a loan.
Absolutely.
What about if I got a big old Caterpillar? Front end.
Hey, that sounds like it all depends. What are we? What's the purpose of the loan? Is it consumer or is it business? Well, if it's for my business, well, that's a commercial loan. I'm going to give it to our new commercial lender.
That's going over that way, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
What about some of these JOCO guys out there with their hunting vehicles? They've as long as the title's clear,
we got a clear title and we could put a lien on. We'll figure it out.
Put some wheels on that baby, huh?
Awesome. We don't mess around with mobile home lending. I don't want to see my collateral going down 35 the other way.
I understand it. You want to know where it's at, and you want to know it's going to stay.
That's right.
So if you do, tie them down. Well, John, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Good info, and we want to have you back and your commercial partner back. And let's talk more First Financial.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having us.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JOCO Community Radio.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Hey, Jill, congratulations on your son getting into the college of his dreams and with a full scholarship, too. Yes, we're here.